Hey guys, welcome back. Hey, today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be a team effort between myself and Cy from Cy's Corner. If you haven't seen her channel, check her out. There'll be a link in the description below. But we're going to offer you guys some tips. We're going to alternate. I'll do one, she'll do one. And then hopefully they'll help you. They'll make your woodworking easier, better, more consistent, and hopefully more fun. Now, also at the end, you can go to Cy's channel and see more tips from her and myself. She'll have a feature video just like this. Now, let's see what Cy has in store for us.
Hey y'all, Cy here. One thing I've learned is to put your hardware on your backer before you glue your project to it. That way you don't have to worry about knocking the pieces off or damaging the piece when you turn it upside down to put the backer on. But if you forget, like I've done many times, what I've discovered is instead of using little nails, use little screws. Then you can just hold it up and screw that screw in without having to pound on it. But you also have to take in consideration the thickness of the backer and the length of the screw or the nail. And sometimes you can crack a little piece from using a screw. So I used a screw on this one that was a little bit too big, and sure enough, it cracked my little piece. Nothing ever seems to work perfectly, but as long as you know what might happen, then it's less discouraging when it does happen. So you just figure out little ways to get around making things like that happen.
Hey, this first tip is about finishing some small items or whatever you need to finish. But you know, sometimes you've got something, if you've done some scroll saw work, or if I've made some toys. I make a lot of little airplanes and construction toys and things of that nature. And sometimes when I want to finish them, I spray one side, and then you have to wait for that to dry, and then turn it over so you can spray the other side with your lacquer, your poly, or whatever it is you're going to use. Well, I had this extra Lazy Susan that was just going to get thrown away, and so I mounted it on a board, and then on the board I put some nails. And the Lazy Susan lets me spin my project. And like for instance, when I paint these little airplanes that I make, I can set it with the bottom on, set it on the nails, and I can spray all angles and turn it. That way I don't have to walk around the table making sure I get every angle, but I can just spray it. And then once that side is sprayed, I can flip it over on the nails, not impairing the finish on the bottom, and then I can spray this side. And that way both sides are getting finished and are allowed to dry, and I reduce the amount of time that I have to spend on finishing this little item. So if you've got an extra little Lazy Susan laying around that you don't use, and if you don't, they're only $7 or $8, a little small one at the big box store. It's a good way to help you finish your project and reduce some time. The next tip deals when you've glued two pieces of wood together on the edge, and you don't have a drum sander, or you may not have a planer, and you got to sand that joint smooth. There's a simple little trick to help you know that that joint is nice and even and smooth. And let's see what it is. Take a pencil and run marks across your joint, and then sand your joint until the pencil marks are gone on both sides. Now you have to make sure that you sand evenly. The tendency will be to make the pencil marks go away, but you want them to go away with a natural sand. Now you can see my pencil marks are gone on this side, but we still see faint lines here, 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 and here. So I want to continue to sand on the high side until it just naturally takes care of my pencil marks. Now I want to retest it. Now my marks are gone on both sides, and I've got a real smooth joint. If you don't have a planer or a drum sander, good way to tell if your board is flat.
Another tip is whenever you're making a Natarja, make sure that you keep a master copy. I have accidentally cut up the last copy before, and it makes it really difficult when you're trying to put your project together before you're gluing it up. I like to have the master that I don't really touch ever. And then I take a copy and I like to put a piece of plexiglass over the top of it. And then as I cut the pieces out, I can see where they go and I just lay them on top. But you can do what you want there, but always keep a master copy. Thanks, Lynn, for having me on your channel. And I hope those tips were helpful to everyone watching. See you next time.
Thanks, Si. Man, you have to love her enthusiasm, don't you? You need to check her channel out. She's got some great content. She does some beautiful scroll saw work, amongst other things. And she's just fun to watch and fun to listen to. And I was honored to be on her channel, and I'm glad she was on mine. So check her out. Also, check out her video where you've got more tips. I referenced that earlier in this video. There's more tips from her and from me on her site. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. All my social medias down in the description below, as well as links to Si's channel. And if you haven't, subscribe. It helps our channel a lot. Helps it a lot. We really appreciate it. Until next time, be creative, be thoughtful, and be safe.